Hello YouTube. For anyone new, this is what my boat used to look like, because it looks nothing like that now. The deck's been split from the hull and been heavily modified to suit the rebar windows. Now I just have to make it look sexy again. I spent an insane amount of time trying to get the sides looking symmetrical. I was hoping I could get paint on the deck, but I really don't want to do this again, so I tried to make them symmetrical. Thanks to Luke, I can double check all my measurements. He gave me these drawings after I'd already shaped the deck, only because that's when he knew I was building one. And I got pretty close. I'm nearly ready to get these side windows built. To get this angle symmetrical, I blobbed this little template together, and I measured from this little bit here to here. And that's where this one starts its turn up. So I need to build it out with some bog. And I got pretty close. I haven't finished building this bit up yet, so I expected it to be a bit out. So yeah, that's all right. I'll bog to that and crack it off and do my normal thing. When you flex this sheet, it's a bit hard to do with one hand. It's a lot easier to see all the low spots. I made a paper template that I could flip to the other side. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. I'm cleaning up the bowsprit plug here after the disaster that I made before. It took me 30 minutes to paint the 2 coats of flow coat over this bowsprit in hopes that it would make a mold, and it didn't release, and I just spent 2 hours just then and maybe an hour and a half the other day to scrape it off. I'm pretty sure the gel coat reacted with the single pack paint that I used, and it melted in some spots on the paint. I've already cracked this open. But she's nice and straight now. I just have to figure out how to fade it into here. The dash must be a little bit curved like that, but she won't be after I'm done with it. I've already cracked this one, obviously. Now she's nice and straight. I can fade that. Gonna have fun with that. Do they look symmetrical? So I ran out of Q-cell, but I wanted to get as much done tonight as I could. It's a real late night tonight. I ended up using micro balloons. It's all epoxy resin. I'm committed to using epoxy because that's all fiberglass and epoxy, and I couldn't be bothered about changing from polyester to epoxy. So I've had better success with epoxy when I'm sanding as well. Sometimes when I mix gel coat, it gets sticky and it clogs discs up. When I do it with waxed polyester, it goes hard as rock. Like it's really hard to sand. So anyway, these 2 angles will be spot on after I crack that off in the morning. But I gotta go to bed. It's 1:30 in the morning. So I've been using the orbital, sanding it down with 40 grit, and last night or early this morning I laid some more epoxy resin over stuff that I thought was still tacky. I'm never going to do that again because that's all just been flaking off in sheets, and it's chemically bonded there onwards. So I've just been chipping away, making sure that it's not releasing like that, because it's coming off like it's going on a mould. I scribble with lead pencil so I can see what I'm sanding and where the low spots are. It's really late, 4:30 in the morning, and the most devastating thing is I know I'll have to do this again. It's really hard to keep going. I thought this was going to be the pretty much the last bog, but I reckon there'll be another 2 after this, and I'm tired. I want this to be done so I've got something to look forward to on the weekends. While I wait for the epoxy to cure, I work on the new anchor hatch. I need to make it be able to house the bowsprit. This is like the second iteration bonnet scoop I make for the anchor hatch. And it doesn't work out so good. It didn't quite finish it. Perfect. The sides are looking pretty close now, after days of sanding and bogging and sanding and bogging. And that's what happens if you make the bog too thick. It doesn't matter how much aerosol and Q-cell you put in. I put heaps of aerosol. That's not good for sanding, but I knew that I've been trying different stuff because I don't like talking about how much bog I've been using, but yeah, I'm having problems like this, which means I'll have to bog again after this and spewing. Any proper boat builders out there, put your 2 cents worth in. I won't get offended.
Another late one.
Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
But I got this done. Hey Google, what's the time?
It's 2:53 a.m.
This is about the 5th bonnet scoop I've made, and it looks like I've got to cut these wings off to be able to fit it. I want it to be low profile so it doesn't scoop water up. I like making paper templates because they're easy to make and it's a quick way to check symmetrically. I've got the old alley bash rail mounted to see all the waviness, and also I'm trying to fix the lip that I've ground off after fixing all the fiberglass bodge ups. So I used some melamine 3mm, and I was thinking I could bog and glass to that. Here I'm mixing up some 5-minute epoxy, and I'm just going to tack that 3D printed bonnet scoop onto the anchor hatch so I can wrap some fiberglass over it. I'm just going to use polyester resin. The 3D printed part will be there forever. I'm out of time and money, so I make the call. I want to bring the hull into the garage so it gets it out of the weather and I can let it dry out. I'm working away from home for a while and I feel really guilty leaving it out in the sun and rain. I'm already gone while I'm making this video, if you haven't been able to tell. While the deck is up, it's easy to clean everything, so I take the opportunity to clean it really, really good. So when I get home to start working on it again, I actually feel like working on it. As you can see, I've got a little bit of an obsession with forklifts, and not all of them are working properly. So I have to fix stuff before I can move stuff with great difficulty. I really should have cleaned up the dags on the edges of the hull there before trying to put the deck on. Under the dash looks a little bit funny from this angle. I try to get the deck to sit down on the hull by myself, but I don't really get it on very well by myself, and I end up asking my dad for help. We temporarily screw some brackets into the hull, cut the screw ends off with a grinder. This is so the deck can meet up with the hull. So we can pull the hull together with a snap strap.
Don't pull on it when you did that.
My dad and I try to drop the deck further forward on the hull and then try to pull it backwards, but we don't quite get there. But it's good enough to leave it there for a bit. So this is why I made such a big opening, is because it's such an unimpressive height in here. But yeah, it'll look nice still. I just cleaned all the water out of all the little pockets. There wasn't that much because I've drilled little holes everywhere that make it trickle to the front, and then I've drilled a hole into the front of the boat, like I probably said a few times. But yeah, what do you think of the bonnet scoop? I don't know if you can see it. I can't fit the bowsprit on. I should have moved the boat further back, but I had to put some wooden panels because I can't fit the trailer. So I've got everything packed away. My dad and I tried to get the deck to fit onto the hull, but we just missed. We ended up trying to put a rope from here to the shed on both sides and drive forward, because it still needs to come a lot further that way. It's sad leaving it. I just wanted to get it done. I failed again. Everything takes 8 times longer with me. But I've run out of money, and it's probably going to do well having a bit of a break from it. After checking the dimensions on Luke's drawings here, I'm only 10 mil out at the back and I'm spot on at the front. Couldn't believe it. I did everything off pictures. Thank you if you made it this far. Please like and subscribe.